Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. This is 160, so we are doing some Canadian content. We're going to do a little Rush feedback to be specific. This is Rush doing a bunch of kick-ass covers from basically the 60s. Some of these songs we, being the general public, know them better as covers from some artists, but those artists are even covers of the originals. It's mentioned in here even. The liner notes right here, Neil Peart. Of course, the writer is going to do the writing, right? The disc is really cool. I love the artwork on it. That's really awesome. I would love to have seen a vinyl version of this. Maybe they do a special vinyl version where they do that coloring so you can get that cool pressing like that. That would be awesome. So, let's get into the actual music on this. Now, the very first thing we have to discuss is some of the songs that they cover have multiple musicians in them, not just three musicians. So the guys, in some cases, had their work cut out for them. In the liner notes, even, Neil references covering drummers like Ginger Baker of Cream and Keith Moon of The Who, and how that was a little complicated because they're a little more wild and crazy and he's more technical and precise. But they make it work, and they make it work well. And I'll get into that as I get into the music here, because right off the bat was Summertime Blues, which is the very first song that kicks us off. It is a fun song. Now, the normal version of it is a fun song. It's a little camp, but it's fun. And the only reason why it's camp is how old it is, blah, 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 blah. Great album, in all honesty. Or song, I should say. You know, Now, when it comes to Summertime Blues, most of us know one version or another where we can hear the little lines that are slipped into the song. You know, where it's supposed to be the boss making the lines, or, you know, the adult voice saying whatever. Rush doesn't do that in here. Instead, they have Neil do some cool little fills and get minor soloing kind of stuff. It's really kind of cool what they do with it. They have some fun with it. They do it their own way. The original version of Summertime Blues, I believe, is Eddie Cochran. It's also been covered by Blue Cheer and The Who. The Who is the version I know the best because out of those three artists / bands, The Who is the one I listen to the most often. After that, we get into Heart Full of Soul. This song is killer and classic. It's a Yardbirds tune. I don't think it gets the recognition with today's music listener. I don't want to say today's youth, because it's really cool how today's youth, they're really desperate for rock, man, and they're all going and getting the classics because there's not enough new stuff out there. Like, there's some good new stuff out there, but not enough of it. But Heart Full of Soul, great tune, fantastic tune. It's understandable why Rush covered it. And it's Yardbirds, man, so you can't beat the Yardbirds. After that, you get into For What It's Worth, Buffalo Springfield. Now, my knowledge on Buffalo Springfield isn't great. For What It's Worth is a fantastic song, though, and I didn't realize that it was a Buffalo Springfield song. I do think I may have to check out some Buffalo Springfield, because Buffalo Springfield actually appears on here a couple times, and I'll be getting back to that. So, you know, there are some bands you can tell definitely inspired in the early days. After that, we get into The Seeker. So we have The Who, an actual Who song. And Neil just rips it up. I mean, Alex, I don't talk enough about Alex and Getty, but Alex and Getty are Alex and Getty to me, you know. You get your bassist, your guitarist. Of course, I'm totally into the drummer. That's just me. I totally dig everybody else in the band, and I think Alex Lifeson is the most underrated guitarist in the world because he's in a band with two of the most highest rated in their field, right? Anyways, The Seeker is awesome. It's great. I really love the way they do it. It's a good time, a really fun time. And then Buffalo Springfield, the second song, Mr. Soul. Great tune, man. Really great tune. I love the big time classic 60s rock kind of songs, that Vietnam era that you always associate it with and whatnot. That time in music for me is just phenomenal. It's some of the best music there was out there. And I love where rock obviously went from there, but that is where the heart, the genesis truly was of it. Next song, a song that I have talked about before. I know I've specifically talked about it in Alice Cooper's Special Forces. 7 and 7 is by the band Love. I don't get the song. I don't. But it's really interesting because I've heard the Alice Cooper version. I don't remember who's playing the drums on that album this time. Then I've got this version where you got Neil Peart. And man, obviously he is ripping it up on the drums. Just right in there in the space, hitting every note with precision on those drums. And I've played variations of the drum riff. I get it. From a drummer's perspective, it's kind of something nice to have in your cabinet of tricks, but not a song that I've ever honestly gotten into. And even here with Rush, I just don't like the song, is what it is. Then we get into Shape of Things. This is the Yardbirds / Jeff Beck. There's a good reason why the Yardbirds are on here twice. The Yardbirds did not have a prolonged existence, but what they did in the early days when they were setting the blueprints for rock behind the Beatles and the Beach Boys, the Who, the Yardbirds kind of, for some reason, always get kind of pushed to the side. And great songs. And Shape of Things is cherry. Absolute cherry. And the album finishes off with Crossroads. Robert Johnson, the original creator of the blueprints of the song. The version that is on here is definitely more in the Cream mentality than the Robert Johnson version. But I've heard them both, and honestly, the Cream mentality is great. Now, the one thing I do love about the fact that they do cover Cream, One Holy Trio, the Canadian Holy Trio covering the British Holy Trio. You know what I mean? It's great. If you ever run across this album, pick it up. It is a fantastic album. I found it right after it first came out, 2004, I believe. And I stumbled across it in the new release section. I was working in a store at a time that had a home entertainment department. I always browsed the CD section, went through, and this album just happened to be sitting in there, which surprised me. I was happy to see. Picked it up right away, brought it home, threw it on, fell in love. An album I still very much enjoy listening to. I like to throw it on every now and then. Just soak it up and have a good time. This is very much a summer kind of mix album for me. I always put this one on in the spring or the summer when I'm outside doing stuff. It has that kind of vibe to it, man. That summer of love hippie vibe that I love so much. Anyways, Rush, feedback. You gotta check it out if you don't have it. That's my views. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. That's what the comment section is for. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. It helps me. It helps you. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.